The revolution in local investing. It's happening more and more from state to state. We're here with Chris. Tell us a little bit about what you're doing here today and your efforts to provide a solution to our economic problems.
Sure. Well, Community Unite is a great opportunity for all of us to come together from different walks of life. And you heard a little bit before about permaculture. What I'm doing might be called financial permaculture. It's all about slowing down the pace of money and helping people develop self-reliance finance.
Okay.
So maybe you can envision a continuum, starting with very fast money system, progressing to something called slow money. Woody Tash, the founder there, who lives in Boulder, is a colleague of mine, and may ultimately end up with no money. Fast money, slow money, or fast money or mo money, slow money, no money. That may be the continuum that we're on. But certainly right now we're in the fast money space. So what we're trying to do is help people get control of their wealth, move it out of a financial system that actually isn't serving them and is becoming increasingly centralized. And then as they repurpose their wealth, hopefully we'll be able to educate them about how they can move more money into their local community. Because while we may not be able to prevent a dollar crash, we may not be able to prevent the system's collapse, we can certainly soften the landing by bringing things local and helping people to come together again as local communities, including the way that they do money and including local investment. So what I help people do, among other things, is to create their own banks. They begin to make money on their own money, not rely on banks and Wall Street for inflow of capital and for their retirement funds. And I help people see each other in the community space so that entrepreneurs can connect with people who have some resource. And most of what I'm doing is really helping people to empower themselves, because our current indoctrination system of money, we're taught to give our money away for 20, 40 or more years in the form of retirement funds. Someone else uses that money. They tell us to play long. They play fast and short. We're told that we'll pay penalties if we take our money out of that system. And so most of us decide that it's easier to let someone else manage our money and let them collect rents off of us in the form of fees. And we're left essentially working that entire time without really seeing the benefits of our wealth until we're ready to retire, which is increasingly dim prospect for many people in the United States. So if we could get access to our wealth now, use it in local community, use it to form our own banks, use it to empower ourselves and create that self-reliance finance, then our local communities will get stronger, small business will get stronger, and our chances of not only surviving but thriving in these very rapidly changing economic times go up markedly.
We were talking about Ron Paul before I turned the video on, and you were talking about reading the book In the Fed. Do you think that his solution is a realistic one about a return to the gold standard, or are there other avenues that are perhaps a little bit more tangible and realistic?
Yeah. Well,
there's been some debate about that, about how realistic that particular idea is with people trying to go this route.
Well, the challenge that's been brought up about the gold standard is there simply isn't enough gold right now to back a currency. I'm sure there are other challenges as well. For example, who controls the gold? So historically, the golden rule is actually those who control the gold rule. So it's not as simple as...
China's got a lot of it now.
Yeah, that's right. It's not really as simple as getting rid of fiat currency system per se, or going to a gold system per se. It's about developing financial systems that actually allow for the money supply to be democratically controlled. There are people on the opposite side of the spectrum from Paul who also believe that the Fed is a travesty and needs to be ended because it's ripping us all off, essentially. By the way, when the Fed was created in 1913, let's say a dollar was worth $1 then, right? Now it's worth less than 5 cents. So you can imagine what that does to your purchasing power as an average citizen. But anyway, this other group, there's a movie called The Wizard of Oz. their solution is to get rid of the Fed, but also to create a system of money that's controlled by the government, much like the greenbacks way back in the day. Ron Paul hates that solution. I could see how it's also a very challenging solution, because right now our federal government doesn't exercise the discipline with the money that it's borrowing from the Fed. So I think what might happen in the currency system is not unlike what's happening in investing, where we need a lot of different experiments happening simultaneously to figure out which ones have the most currency, no pun.
You're basically talking about decentralization. So in this case, we are talking about Colorado here, and what we can do for ourselves. And
there are some very interesting experiments that have been happening all over the globe for many years in the area of local currencies, in the area of complementary currencies. Bernard Lietaer has written an excellent work called Of Human Wealth that details what those explorations and systems are throughout the globe. Another excellent author, Tom Greco, talks a lot about trade systems. Many of these systems are already functioning and have some basis in the world right now, and so I tend to look at those as potentially better experiments, because there's already some traction on them functioning right now.
What are some of the websites you would like to promote that you're affiliated with, and then from there some other websites people might want to go to learn more about this movement towards local currency?
Sure. Well, I think it goes well beyond currency, and really in order to understand the need for local currency, we really need to think bigger, and we need to think about what's happening in society in general, what's happening with our environment. So I highly recommend learning more about the transition movement, which you can do through transitioncolorado.org or Transition US, or the Transition Network that was born in the UK, is now a global movement. I think it'd be really useful to read some of the works, such as The Long Emergency.
I haven't read that, heard about it.
Some of these crises and how they're happening simultaneously. Within the money realm, I highly recommend Nicole Foss, who writes under the pen name Stone Lee. Her website is called AutomaticEarth.org, I believe. Web of Debt is an excellent site, and I also referenced before Bernard Lietaer, who's got a site.
That's Ellen Brown, right?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah. So those are a few that would be worth checking out.
Excellent. Well, thank you for your time. I appreciate it.
Thank you for taking the time to do this.